The clue was there in the name and the backdrop.
Yeah, I know, but this is audio, Edgy.
I'm a Cowboys fan. No.
The one thing that isn't allowed is Cowboys fans on here.
I took my current partner to his first NFL game, and it was the Saints-Chargers game. And I said to him, look, you can pick whatever team you like, it's open. But I said, there's 5 teams you cannot have. And it was like, you can't have the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, the Patriots, or the Cowboys. Because as much as I am Claire the Bear, and I refer to my dad as Daddy Bear, Daddy Bear is a fan of the team that you can't mention anymore. He can't get his head around the fact that you're the Commanders, and still refers to it as but he's an 80-year-old man and he's past.
Also, Claire, can I just stop you there? We're not called the Commanders, we're called the Commanders, just to let you know.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
There's only one R in Commanders.
Washington team, that's what they're called. The name of the week.
So welcome, Claire. Good to have you. Thanks for agreeing to join us. They said, who's that? There he is. Greggles has said, you're usually at the other side, Greggles. Said, you managed to get someone on. Yeah, managed to get someone on. Said, that's right. I've been trying to get Steve Young on. So far, it's not going well.
What do you mean it's not going well? You said he was.
And also, when you say trying to, what have you actually done to try?
I've got on Twitter, X as they called it, and I've sent him a message, and he has replied. I did tell you about this reply, Steve Young.
Do you mean the Steve Young, or just some bloke called Steve Young?
I also a notification saying you've been blocked doesn't count as a reply.
Yeah. Actually, I have to say my proudest moment, I am blocked by 2 people, or probably more, but the 2 people I know I'm blocked by, Donald Trump and AJ Brown.
So I was wrong.
That's not bad. I'm blocked by Rio Ferdinand and Gary Barlow.
What were you blocked by AJ for? Or don't I ask that?
He was having a rant, and I tweeted a quote saying that that's about Walter Payton, and it says, when you're good, you'll tell everyone. When you're great, they'll tell you. And that was it.
That's a bit harsh, I think.
Maybe there was a grammatical error in there and he didn't like it.
Yeah. I mean, I am dyslexic, so I might have dropped a comma somewhere or whatnot.
There you go. That's it. These Americans will be come down on that like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
So if you weren't, there's just a simple question. This one, if you weren't called Claire,
I'm not.
Oh, you're not. Oh, interesting.
It's my middle name.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is your first name Claytriot?
No, I'll let you in on a dirty secret that I absolutely hate. So I share my birthday. It's June the 11th.
That's a strange name, isn't it? That.
With
a
Joe
long line of
Montana,
Junes.
Joe Montana, and Vince Lombardi.
Ooh. Oh,
yeah. I think in an alternate universe that Claire's potentially a Packers fan. See, there's no universes across the multiverse where Claire is that's a consistent
same as my dad. My dad's a Packers fan, so.
Oh, bless you, my child.
You see, I'm a bit like Claire, but I'm nothing like Claire, because where Donald Trump's blocked you, he's promoted me. So,
you follow all the same people, don't you? That's why.
Not at all. So, Claire, I've read a really interesting thing earlier. It was I didn't even read it. I'm lying. But it was your YouTube. What do they call it? Video, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how you got into American football. Share that with us.
So as all the best stories start, it's a dark and stormy night. My mother was pregnant with my baby brother, and we get rushed to hospital. And Claire, I'm too young to be left at home, so my dad picks me up, and I can remember being picked up by the back of my dungarees. So there's a real thing where I'm flying through the air, and Dad's got another bag. We go off to the hospital, and instead of where my dad should have been and helping my mum out, we sat outside and watched a tiny hospital screen that was deeper, that when TVs were deeper than they were. That ages me right there. And we watched Super Bowl 20, and I fell in love. A love affair genuinely started that day. And because I'm an Army brat, my dad became a Washington fan because the guy that got him into American football was a Cowboys fan, but he couldn't be the same as his friend. He had to be the complete opposite. And they will phone each other for Thanksgiving, and there's a whole thing of like who's taking whose phone call. The winner usually calls, and it's like, no, don't pick up the phone. It's Rick. Don't pick up the phone.
Rick the Cowboys fan. If only there was something that rhymed with Rick that we could go on.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah.
They're from Wyoming. They're like proper cowboys, like ranchers.
Oh, okay.
So it's legit sort of.
So I was going to say, since you're a Bears fan in the UK, that 85 team is generally considered to be, are they the best team of all time? You're going to be biased, but is that why?
What, the 85 Bears? Absolutely. Back.
They probably are.
Even like Bill Belichick and other like Andy Reid, whenever they talk, they put those at our current team. Absolutely not. That team where I live in the 80s, much like some teams live in the 90s and whatnot. Absolutely. For the style of play, for the generation of rules and whatnot, it's perfect.
Now, if they're any good, they get compared against that.
Yeah, that's true.
And because I reckon I was probably just about starting to watch it then. And I just remember them as just bashing at every team every week. And was it 2 shutouts in the playoffs?
Yeah, back-to-back shutouts, and that you know how the NFL does the whole sort of like, we'll release the archives and you can watch like 1,000 hours of clips and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
We lost one game. We would have been perfect. We would have beat the Dolphins. We lost to the Dolphins, and we only lost because there was a freak bounce-off catch, sort of billion to one thing that happened. Yeah. And then we lost, and this is how gutsy the Bears are. We're like, we're going to record the Super Bowl shuffle the following day about how we're going to go on and win the Super Bowl. And we absolutely did it. So yeah, kudos to the Bears.
Yeah, because they are sorry, Greggles, they are the 85 Bears have now been compared to the 24-25 Commanders. What do you think about that?
Is this by you only?
My lawyer has asked me not to make any derogatory remarks on this recording.
Did you go to Wembley?
I'm glad mine didn't.
I didn't go to Wembley. Sadly, we've had to let our season tickets lapse. It's an expensive thing. I did go to Tottenham, but I did have to beg, borrow, and steal and do filthy things to Santa. I am definitely on the naughty list. Ho ho ho. But I did get to have that and have a glorious sort of I was up singing, dancing. The guy that I was with was like, she's not had a drop of alcohol. This is just her team is doing well energy, and she's not had this for a while. So yeah,
your team weren't doing well. It was just the Jags who were doing really poorly. But the best thing about that, though, it's not.
This interview is over.
Such a Debbie Downer, you really are.
The best thing about that day was seeing how many Mike Ditkas were in the crowd. When they kept going into the crowd, it was just a line of Mike Ditkas and another line of Mike
cigars
Ditkas.
and whatnot.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I'm asthmatic and whatnot, and I went to Vegas a few years ago for a friend's wedding, and I was like, I want a cigar. I want to do the whole Ditka thing. And it was disgusting. But there was something about holding the lit cigar. I definitely liked that. Didn't like the smoke. It didn't taste like chocolate. It was definitely wet forest. But holding a cigar, I was like, oh, yes. As a Bears fan, I feel I should yeah. So, but yeah, the string of Ditkas, there was like a load of Peyton jerseys. You know, we are a team that's got the most, you know, Hall of Famers and whatnot, so we are spoilt for a good jersey sort of thing. I mean, not recently on our quarterback front, but so yeah, it was, you know, people, and it's fun to like dress as a. I mean, people can't see this, absolutely, you know, because it's a podcast, not a
I'll,
podcast.
I'll stick a photo in just so.
Like I'm dressed like an utter tit, you know, because I love it, and I get to put this on and whatnot, and yeah, I love it.
I've just got a message from Edgy. Sorry, Greggles, one more time. Just got a message from Edgy. I don't know why I've not just said this. It's okay. Can you tell Claire to take the Mark Ditka tash off when she's ready?
I'll stress, I did not send that.
Edgy knows how to send a message.
Yeah, I don't even know who Mike Ditka is.
I was actually going to ask Edgy about how much he knows about those bears. And are you aware of the Super Bowl shuffle?
Well, I was gonna sort of chirp in. So if you like, no, I'm not aware of the eight. It's like for clarity, Claire, I came to NFL very late. I don't know the sort of insides of teams and everything.
The sport is for everyone.
You
start by dipping your toe in and whatnot. And I describe I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm handing the Kool-Aid out, sort of thing. But I'm having a great time on the dance floor. Please come and join me.
Yeah.
You know, so come, let us dance and chat and talk.
Well, I'll get me dancing
forth
shoes
and
on,
suck.
but I've watched the game from an early age, but never really sort of let it permeate into me like these two who know teams from 20, 30 years ago. That's not me. But when you mentioned the 85, what was it that was so good about the 85 Bears that everyone sort of?
So I was 3. So, but they were a bunch of characters having a great time. Basically the lunatic was running the asylum. Ditka had worked under Papa Bear, and it just felt like the heavens opened and essentially happened. And if you want to look something up and the Packers at a game when we were playing at Packers Stadium left a load of horse manure in the Bears locker room.
Nice.
And instead of telling the staff to clean it up, Ditka showed the team.
Right.
That's the type of head coach Ditka was.
So sort of teed them up a bit.
Yeah. And then you've probably heard of the fridge, big running back and whatnot. That came about because the 49ers did us dirty one seat, and Ditka was like, watch this, and kept going. So the fridge, the 500-pound running back, is literally a punchline to a joke, because Ditka was like, I'm going to be the last one laughing.
Yeah, was it the year before where they ran the score up against the Bears, and then he paid him back the year after? Yeah, that was. I do like people being so petty in professional sports. It just makes it so much more fun for everyone else.
I want my team to be classy. I do want them to back up my trash talk. God damn it, sort of thing. Dear Santa, if I can have one thing, can they be as good as my trash talk? So I want them to have I mean, it's become a little bit sterile and whatnot now, and not PC, but you know, the NFL have got an image to protect and whatnot. And I do understand, like, I represent the Bears. I'm not paid to, none of us are. But the moment you put a jersey on or something, someone sees you, your interaction as a fan can, you know, someone might just come across this podcast and there's a bit more pressure on me because I'm a woman talking about sport. So not only do I have to know I have to know some of yours as well to vaguely pass, where chaps can be like, you know, middle-aged white guys all sitting and have a podcast and be like, absolutely, hell yeah, and no one questions it.
We brag it like fuck every week. We haven't got a clue.
To be honest, we haven't got a clue. It's nice to have someone on that actually knows their shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We brag it.
Some Cowboys fan did. I sent a tweet out, and he was like, "Yeah, look, there's plenty of room in our cabinet," sort of thing. You're like, "Look at these 5 Super Bowl trophies," and I was like, "We have 9 titles," and he was like, "Quiet."
Yeah.
There was
not heard from him since.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah. I'm a Steelers fan, so I can go, what, only 5?
Yeah. You know, people forget that it existed before the Super Bowl became a thing. Like we have a NFL championships, which was the equivalent of the Super Bowl. When you're a team with a ton of history, you get to.
It's like the Browns. That people forget that the Browns, just because in the last 100, 200 years they've been terrible. Before that, they won a game once.
When Jesus was on the earth, the Browns were a decent team.
But they missed Jesus in the draft. They had the number 1 pick and didn't go for Jesus.
Yeah. They picked a punter that year, didn't they?
Always.
Went for Judas instead. Never a good choice.
So just to going back to that Cowboys fan, and on your Twitter, Claire, so X, whatever you want to call it. When he was saying it's okay, you've got to trust Jerry Jones.
I wouldn't trust Jerry Jones with a cup of still water.
I trust him completely. I think he should remain in charge of the Cowboys forever.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you've heard this, Claire, but Bill Belichick going to the Cowboys. What do you think on that? No, have you not heard that?
No, I haven't heard.
Have you just made that up, Daz?
No, he makes it up every week.
Oh, okay. Am I being catfished? Am I being like?
No, I think
no more than we are. We're sick of hearing it. I keep hearing this rumor. I go, yeah, you keep hearing it as you're saying. He won't go there because Jerry Jones is there. Simple as that.
Yeah, but you've got to trust Jerry Jones. So Jerry Jones had meant to have said that the Cowboys coach Matt McCarthy is designing bad plays and bad concepts on offense. So my thing is, why didn't they just keep Dan Quinn and promote him to the head coach? That would have made sense. Look at Micah Parsons. He's only recorded 1 sack so far this year.
He's been injured. To be fair to him, he's been injured.
I don't care.
Well, he needs to be on the field to get more.
No,
that's
not my problem. Not my problem. He's got 1 sack. I don't think he signs for Cowboys. I can't see him signing for the Cowboys.
Steeler in waiting.
I think he'll come to Dan Quinn in Washington next year. We need an edge rusher. Perfect.
You can afford him, can't you?
You can afford him. He knows Dan Quinn's defense.
I don't know. I like the idea of them just having those 3 players on huge contracts and a load of shit as well because they can't afford any other players.
They'll just see who Panthers. They're just going to see who Panthers are going to release at the end of the season, and they're just the red Baron will come
the red dinosaur will be back. Yeah,
Andy Dalton. I watched him on Sunday. He was awful.
He's consistent, isn't he?
As a Bears fan, can I say thank you, Panthers, for such a beautiful gift and taking out our rubbish. And the worse you play this season, the better our draft pick. We fleeced them. We fleeced them.
We were talking about that on Sunday.
We were.
And we're talking about because obviously the Deshaun Watson got injured. People saying that's the worst trade ever. And I went, no, I think the Panthers trading their number 1 for the number 1 pick because they lost another number 1 pick. We're a better player. They also, when there was that touchdown that Caleb Williams threw to Adunze, sorry, not to Adunze, to DJ Moore, and I went, that's got to fucking hurt the Panthers, that one, hasn't it? Because that's
look what you could have won, yeah.
They were their players. And then you've also got a second still going from that deal next year, which is likely to be like 33rd pick.
And with the Steelers, if you keep playing Fields,
your
draft kit, our pick is better.
Don't worry, they won't. They'll go Wilson.
We will, but I think he's got to play quite a lot for the rest of the season to get that. Is it? It's all based on snaps, and our offense is never on the fucking field, is it?
I thought it was only 5 games because they were pretty sure that Wilson was going to start.
I thought it was percentage of snaps or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll depend. It's up in the air. But if we end up paying a 5th rather than a 6th, it means that he's probably working out all right. So
yeah,
that's probably worthwhile. He's still a relatively young lad, isn't he? So who knows? We will see. Anyway, this isn't about the Steelers. Yeah.
So let's go back to the Washington.
Let's get on to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, we want to talk about next Sunday, where the Bears are playing the Commanders. Now, me and Edgy are sick to fuck of hearing about the Commanders. So can we hear the Bears' perspective on the Commanders game, please?
So I will. So I first off, can I just say, absolutely love the title of this week's podcast. It is. I've been doing. People have had me on for like donkey's years for radio and blah blah blah. This may be the funny. Whoever you are, I know it's some random Irish lass.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Killer Queen, yeah.
But I not only will I be here for a laugh, like I say, I have to be responsible and honest and whatnot.
No, we don't care about that.
Yeah, but I do. I have a reputation to maintain.
So do we.
They're at the other end of the
spectrum. That's not true.
So if I will be honest, I'm very happy with the Bears scoreline and the W's and the L's, and absolutely. Have we played the absolute softest bunch out? Absolutely. We've probably had the softest start of the... No.
I don't know. I reckon we have.
So I think you're a decent test, sort of thing, because we are going to have to get the wheels spinning. The NFC North is hot. Is it like 19-6 our win-loss ratio sort of thing? It's crazy.
It's a great division, isn't it?
But it's awful because we've got hot and everyone else has got hot at the same time. Boo! Boo!
I'll deal with it.
The Vikings will go. They'll plummet.
Who's that?
The Vikings will plummet.
Yeah,
you see that already, can't you? Yeah.
Well, they are purple from 40 years worth of choking. Is the gag as a Bears fan? So yeah, I expect a gritty, old-style football game where it's going to come down to less than 10, where the NFL has geared everything to points make prizes sort of thing. I think we're going to get an old-school game where you're going to have to fight for every inch, and it's not going to be pretty. And I do think the Commanders win.
Ooh.
No,
are you trying to jinx them? Is that
no? I never. I'm always honest with a review because I'd rather be right.
Is this with Daniels or without Daniels?
I think that's my question.
Because the matchup that everybody wants, Williams and Daniels, I don't think it's going to happen, is it? From last report I read,
he's going to be reevaluated tomorrow. Now it is good news because it's not as serious as it could be. So. The NFL wants it. The fans want it. Williams versus Jane Daniels.
But I have to say that the NFL is a brutal sport. It is gladiators, essentially. And these men put their bodies on the line for our entertainment. I want safety first. I want players to be safe. I don't want anyone on the field, regardless of it being Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Tom Brady, the normal nemesis. I want healthy players, and concussions and whatnot has to be taken seriously.
Yeah. Can I just butt in there, Claire, and say if your dad had took safety precautions, your brother wouldn't have been born.
Well, my mum was supposedly a bit of a fox when. Anyway. So yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of run, and I think we're going to have to keep you guys honest, because if it's not Daniels, we're going to have no footage to watch and study this week, and you might do the whole sort of, be a slippery bar of soap thing. So
who is your backup?
We've got Marcus Mariota.
Oh, Mariota, yeah.
No, you can watch him against the Panthers, but even a decent quarterback or half-decent would look good against the Panthers. But he played well, Marcus Mariota.
You can watch him throughout his career and go, oh, right, that's why he's a backup at Washington.
He's one of the better backups, though, Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, I trust him as a backup.
Yeah, absolutely. He's getting
what about as a starter?
I think he can play him 2-3 times a season and only lose 2 or 3.
There was the link up between Mariota and Zach Ertz, and it was like the comment from the commentary.
Zach Ertz I know he's old, he's 36, I think he is now, but he's playing so well this season. And it's good to see how new tight end Ben Sinnott got his first touchdown from Marcus Mariota. I was quite happy with that. In fact, very happy with that.
The last sort of report I read saying that Daniels is very much a doubt
Yeah, I think he will be. You don't want to risk him.
No.
First snap, he gets whacked in the ribs straight away.
No, it's silly.
I mean, that's good for me because traditionally, obviously, me and my dad are fans of two different teams, and we don't meet it's not like we're divisional rivals and whatnot, but we do meet pretty regularly. And I think the win-loss record is in our favour. I'd hazard.
I just judged it off our last game with you.
Yeah. Nothing counts. It's always the last game sort of thing.
Yeah, and you absolutely spanked us.
Yeah, and so me and my dad bet dinner. So loser buys dinner. So I look forward to my Nando's. Daddy, get the checkbook out.
Nando's.
Loser doesn't get any dinner.
Out of 53 games, it's 27, 25 and 1 Washington.
Ooh.
To Washington.
Yeah. So
dinner's
close.
on you.
Nice, fair dues. But you are our biggest and the NFL's largest defeat in history is the Bears Washington. It was so bad that the referees asked us to stop kicking extra points.
That was 73-0.
Yeah.
Greggles will just...
We'll just
No.
Yeah.
Edgy wants to learn about this kind of historical stuff.
I do, yeah. Well,
he's our historian. Claire, if you just want to ask Edgy which team he's supporting this week.
Well, I have about 6 because I don't particularly pick a team. So
if you just enjoy the sport, that's
exactly.
fine.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you. Yeah, I had a Washington.
What I don't like is fans that hop. If you're having a smorgasbord, you get to keep having a smorgasbord. But once you pick, you have to stick.
Well, I'll clarify it slightly. I had a Cincinnati jacket when I was a teenager, so I've kind of got an affinity with them. I ended up playing Jacksonville on Madden, so I kind of have an affinity with them. I also like underdogs, and Jacksonville are kind of.
I mean, other than last week where I was absolutely howling for blood and whatnot, I've got a friend who's my bestie's new chap is a Jags fan, and we were giving it to each other on Saturday. You know, at 10:30 in the morning, he sent Duval, and I'm like, yeah, have it, sort of like.
No, I like teams that.
I have a soft spot. Like, I want with the current Browns team, but I want Browns fans to be happy. I do like the Jags. The people forget that they stood up when the Rams went and Jeff Fisher went, we're not coming to London. I don't have to. It says so in my contract. The Jags stepped up. We got football because Khan stepped up. And I'm very grateful for that. So I do have a soft spot for the Jags. I do want them to do well. I can remember their first game against the 49ers and we cheered their first downs on like they were touchdowns, sort of thing. So, yeah, you might have to cut this from the thing and I will totally deny this and that I said this and whatnot. Like, do not have this be the opening phrase of this. But if the Lions went on to win the Super Bowl this year, I'd be really happy for their fans, genuinely. And I think the best thing about being a UK fan is I've got to talk to all different fans. I can't just be in my Bears bubble, even though it was lovely the other weekend and it looked like a suburb in Chicago as we went down and whatnot, and I loved it.
Plenty of muggins and stuff just outside the stadium.
Yeah, there was no gunshots
Wembley,
or anything, but yeah. So... yeah, I love that it's a community we all have to talk to each other. And I learned, like, my best friend's a Saints fan. I have to learn about the Saints. The next one down is a Titans fan. I have to hear about the Titans. So, yeah, I'm well up for sharing and whatnot.
It's that sort of community, isn't it? It's united against hating the Cowboys. That's kind of it. It works that way everywhere. Interesting you mentioned there about the Browns fans being happy. They were happy at the weekend when Deshaun Watson got carted off, wasn't they?
Best thing ever, yeah.
It's very, very rare that the home crowd cheers for their quarterback coming off the field. I can understand why, and whatnot as a woman, whatnot. But like, he should be out of his contract. But anyway, I'm not.
But the thing is, I don't want to see anyone get injured. But if you have to see someone get injured, I'm glad it's him.
Yeah. I never want anyone to have a career-ending injury, but if he's
if it's him,
yeah,
it has to be someone.
There's somewhat of karma there, isn't there? I suppose.
Yeah.
And Nick Chubb comes back. They lead to Sean Watson. That's a great swap.
I do think maybe their front line is not exactly giving it, as Deadpool would say, maximum effort.
No, I said this the other week when who's their backup?
Jameis Winston.
That's it. Jameis Winston came in. They actually played for him. You can see the difference between the two quarterbacks, and they play for Winston. They don't play for Sean Watson.
Well, he's a really popular guy, Winston, isn't he?
Yeah.
All the teams he's been at, they all like him, even though he's erratic as fuck. They really like him, like the man. And so I think they'll improve now. With
what do you think Myles Garrett's doing? Because he came out and saying all these people who cheered when he went off, Deshaun Watson, they called the Browns fans out. I think he's trying to edge for move. I think the trade, and there's been quite a few trades put forward, not in reality. What's the word I'm looking for? Pretend
in your head.
In my head, that's one. And there's quite a few excuses, but it's going to cost to get Myles Garrett. They were like talking maybe a couple of first rounds, a second and a fifth.
I think because he's so outspoken, he's got a touch of the AJ Browns about him.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to take a load of cash, a draft pick, and he's not locker room stable. He's not someone where it's like, come to me, my people. You know, where Tom Brady, people were falling over themselves to take little money and go to the Bucs sort of thing, you know. So I don't think he's as a sexy offer as I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be hard to shift.
Didn't he sign a big contract not long ago? But someone will have to pay a chunk in order to get it. Money as well as picks.
Okay, I'll tell you one of the trades that was out there. Like I said, not official, but they were on about a move to Atlanta where they send Penix over as quarterback, which would be interesting. That'd work. And a first, a second, and a fourth, I think it was, maybe. But that'd work for both teams.
The Falcons don't see the value in first round picks, so they might well
exactly.
do that,
You know, what's the point of them having draft picks at all? Falcons makes no sense.
Is there any universe in which Watson would be traded? Would anybody take him?
Not now.
No. The money's ridiculous. He's guaranteed $46 million for the next 2 years after this one.
So he's out for this season, isn't he? And part of next season.
And probably next season.
And he's got 2 more years on that guaranteed contract after this year.
Same injury as Greenlaw, I think. Is what, sorry, Greggles?
What's he played, 12 games for them? 14 games?
He was out last year as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and he was suspended for most of his first season.
So would you say that then they're going to go and look for a QB in the draft?
Problem is, there's not a good quarterback coming through in the draft this season. That was last season.
Yeah.
They might have to stick with Winston or see who they can get for a year or two, and then
Bryce Young.
And they might do the whole thing where not that players ever want to deliberately lose or whatnot. Don't get me wrong, but you know they might not be putting their best foot forward because obviously these men have contracts where numbers apply. They need to put numbers up and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So, but if it's W's and if we're going to go for 3 at the end of the game instead of because they are going to want to build on their capital, sadly. Sorry, Browns fans. I love you so much. Whenever I see them I'm like, bless you, my child.
I don't mind the Browns now. Because growing up, I always hated the Browns. And then they became the Ravens. So my hatred moved to the Ravens. And then this new Browns, and I go, are they like a tribute? No, not at all. I'm like, well, I know these aren't the real Browns. Because the real Browns are the Ravens, and I still hate them. So the other ones are fine. Let them just dawdle along, getting their occasional wins and stuff like that. You can't hate them. It's not like the old Browns who are so easily hateable. This new lot are just a laugh.
Yeah, can I just pull it back to your division, Claire? Because we did have at the start a little talk on who will win your division, and I did say the Bears.
Oh no!
Did you really?
No, I did say Bears.
It's the only division.
Who sent you some money?
We all said someone different. That's the only division where we all said something different. none of us
end
said
of
the
our
Vikings.
season, if you look at our schedule, it gets hot. So we've started off soft. I do think we go downhill. I'll be happy if I'm honest, third, because I can see the Lions and the Vikings punching it out to week 18.
Not Packers. Packers are better than
Packers are better than the Vikings. Yeah.
No, I don't.
I've got I had the Lions, Edgy had the Packers, Daz had the Bears.
Yeah.
All of us said the Vikings were going to be shit as they went off their 5-0 start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming.
I just think if it weren't for Jefferson, they're just a Jefferson injury away from not winning another game. Darnold is showing more Sam Darnold traits now over the last 2-3 games he's played and just being pulled out.
I'd happily see the Lions go through for the division and through the playoffs. Like
massive injury though, wasn't it? The other week, nasty leg break.
Yeah.
Hutchinson, terrible. A lot of injuries, Claire. This week alone. Do you think what's happened going back
just
to
in San Francisco?
San Francisco alone.
Yeah.
And New Orleans are even worse. Yeah. They pretty much run out of players off their practice squad because they had so many injuries.
Crazy this year. Crazy.
I mean, we've had some rule changes, so players are literally finding their feet. I struggle with the whole you can tackle the quarterback, but you can't lay on top of him. And you're like, he's a 300-pound man. How is he meant to get out physics does not work like this NFL sort of thing. But like they say, they're trying to go safer and get mums to get boys to play football sort of thing. So it is part of our sport.
I just want to ask Claire one question about Chicago, if that's okay. Claire, my favourite...
You never put ketchup on a hot dog.
I thought this could be like the musical.
No, this is
which I saw in Chicago, in the Chicago Theatre, by the way, which is brilliant.
Never seen it, and I'll never will see it. Just going back to your linebacker, obviously got Mike Singletary, but I think my favourite linebacker to have ever played for Chicago was Brian Urlacher, 54.
I have Brian Urlacher.
Him in your room now.
I'll send a picture. I have him. It's called Bear Hug. There are 2 of these in the UK. I have one of them. I gave the other one away. I watched all of his career, like he's my bear. And the 2000 Bears were so just, and I have to say, I don't mind. we lost to New Orleans. And you're like, well, after Katrina and what you're like, please take it, sort of thing. And then obviously we lost to the Colts in the Super Bowl, and you're like, oh well, Peyton Manning needs a Super Bowl ring. So I don't feel dirty and used. I'd like another Super Bowl banner in my flat, but
not gonna happen.
If you're gonna lose to 2 teams, a team that's had their city destroyed, and you've had to be a beacon of hope. Tick. And then one of the greatest players of all time who's also an absolute gentleman. Tick. So yeah.
So where do you rate him then? Like in a defense, he's not better than Singletary, but I just like how we got around.
It's this, like, I get asked questions like this all the time, and
let's move on then.
You have to remember that the rules were different. Singletary could charge it out the way, flop, like they were trying to cause them to bleed. There were stories of the 85 Bears where they would have quarterbacks crying in the locker rooms at halftime because they had to go out and continue play, or they would fake injuries not to have to play them the next time, sort of thing. So rules change. The quarterbacks are much more protected now and whatnot. I do lean when we talk about older style quarterbacks like Joe Montana and whatnot. Yes, Brady's got more rings, but he was playing in a league that protected him. Montana was out there literally dodging bodies, sort of thing. So you cannot compare a generational gap of 30 years because the game had changed so much in that time.
Yeah, also, Steve Young, I know you're listening, he played really well for the 49ers. So when you come on, Steve.
We'll talk about the 90s 49ers. That time Joe Montana came back for the Chiefs and beat you. That one. We'll talk about that one. I'm also in the Montana as the best ever.
Yeah, you're a big Montana fan. I'm Tom Brady.
The best passing quarterback ever is still Dan Marino, I think.
He
was in a shit team as well.
He is my best quarterback never to win a Super Bowl. He
definitely is, but as a passer as well, he's absolutely amazing. And the numbers he was putting up at the time, it was still a run-heavy league as well. Yeah. And he's put up those numbers, which are only being beaten now because they're playing extra games and there's so much quarterback protection. Whereas he's putting those up while he's also got the Bears defense trying to kill him and succeeding on occasion. So that's why I think that the figures and stuff from that era are much more impressive when they're people like Montana and Marino.
Yeah, that's where the hits came from. 80s, 90s. Mandrew Ray Lewis played against the Bears when Urlacher played, and that was always an interesting matchup. Steelers team, Greggles team, Steelers, when they played the Ravens, massive games, the massive 6-3 games, the 9-6 games.
And so NFL UK had a thing where when the Ravens were here and they played was it the Jags? I think it was the Jags.
Well, it was about 6 years ago.
It was a few years ago, yeah. Before COVID. And I was lucky enough so many people. So the Ravens had so many fans coming over, they had to put an extra aeroplane on because they had like 2,000 extra fans coming over. Ray Lewis was going to do a thing for NFL UK, and they usually do it at the Landmark Hotel, and they usually about 150 people get in and whatnot. It's quite intimate. It's great. I have been really lucky and met some great players that way. So many people wanted to be at this thing that Ray Lewis was at. They had to open up the ballroom to have him with all the seats.
In Blackpool?
No, at the Landmark Hotel. Oh, okay. So it went from a room that housed 150 people to a room that housed 2,000 people. And when he got in, it was electric. It was like almost a religious experience, and you could hear a pin drop every word that man said.
Yeah.
And I got goosebumps. And he's not even a member of my team. And it was a privilege to sit in that room with him.
Yeah, I was delighted to see the back of him. I was so pleased.
Yeah. There are some players that you're like, thank God I don't have to see them play in another team's jersey anymore.
Yeah. Do you know when you got the Seahawks and they got like the Legion of Boom, didn't they? When I think Dan Quinn was there, actually. He was their defensive coordinator. Yeah. And of course,
we got Whiteman.
Yeah, well, I think going back then, the Ravens defense, Ed Reed, Cam Chancellor, Suggs, Lewis, just Nagata as well. So many good players.
So privileged. Like for the top, like as a fan, we have had some bangers. Like across the league, we've had so much talent. As seeing games here in London, we have seen the creme of people like, oh, it's shitty games and it's not my team and wow. You're like, shut up. I've seen, Ray Lewis take the field. I've seen Adrian Peterson tiptoe down the line for 70 yards. Tom Brady, Urlacher at Wembley, like tick. We have seen some absolute bangers. We saw Eli Manning score the unicorn of touchdowns, where he's got like 3 rushing touchdowns in his career, and one of them was at London. So don't moan. There's always quality. You might not get the dessert you want, but you're gonna get a good dessert with the NFL.
Every time the Steelers played London, they got absolutely whooped by the Vikings. It was shit, and the game was over at the end of the first quarter. So you don't always get what you want in those games.
No, but that's 12 years, sport. I think, that's why you're allowed that's why you're allowed to have a bet on it. That is sport.
Absolutely. But Greggles, you went to Frankfurt, didn't you, last year?
I did. It was I was working coincidentally in Frankfurt the weekend when it was the Chiefs against the Dolphins.
So I'd love to but the tickets are so hard to get hold. Like the NFL have absolutely created their firestorm, and we're all hungry and whatnot. But we've had to fold our, greedy Ticketmaster with a 30% increase this year. Just and we're like, I feel dirty and used, and not in the fun way. So we've let our season tickets fold. So as a group of friends, we've decided that we will wait till either of our teams are here and then get a sexy VIP package and sort of save up during the year.
I've been tempted by it because the Tottenham. I went to the first game of Spurs this year. I think it wasn't that bad. It was like maybe 250 quid of standard tickets. But compared to Wembley, getting in and out of Spurs, so much easier. So I'll be more than happy to do that again.
Come on, let's hear one line of your fight song.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Way to victory.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you.
I mean, it's better than the Super Bowl Shuffle, to be fair. So.
Well, shut up! I've got that on vinyl.
so
would be a question of mine to end on. What on earth is the Super Bowl Shuffle?
It's going to play out the end of this episode, Edgy.
Oh, please,
right,
please.
Okay.
So it's a piece of music, or actually a music video where we basically, how Joe Cool for the Jets were like, we're going to win the Super Bowl, and they went on and did it. Basically, it was our gauntlet throwdown to the rest of the league, and we went on and won it. But it's an absolute.
Edgy, you know the Anfield, that?
Yes.
About 3 years before that, the Chicago Bears did the Anfield that first.
Right. Got you.
It's a bit better than the. Come on, that's a little bit hard.
I mean, it's not. They are exactly as good as each other.
The Anfield rap was quality, so you've really bigged it up there.
I reckon they're both fine. As long as you don't like hip hop, I reckon you're probably fine.
Or music.
That's loves them.
Yeah. Last question, Claire, before I let you go. Who finishes with the better starts? Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels?
I think Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, genuinely. More because there's a more stable team around him.
He plays for Washington.
And we are also we've just had our bye week. It is all uphill from here. We've got all our divisional games and whatnot, and he's a rookie and he may not have anything left in the tank at the end. I do think we are the team that whoever we win and lose against decides who goes through to the next round. We're not irrelevant, but we're not important sort of thing. So yeah, it will be Daniels. I don't think it'll be huge stat differences between. But yeah, I would tip it to Washington.
Yeah. And by the way, you're welcome for Montez sweats.
I want to get a sweat jersey to wear to the gym.
He's a good one, isn't he? He's good.
He is. He's made such an impact for someone who you just thought, oh, okay, and there's like more. Then we've had sexier things on the and you're like, this guy's come out, and you're like, yeah.
Next week, just watch him play next week.
So how many magic beans did Washington get for him in that?
We got a third, I think, for Montez.
Yeah, better than I expected.
No, it's a good player.
I felt fleeced.
I know he is.
I felt fleeced that we gave Justin Fields to you guys for. I thought he was worth more than what you gave up. But who are we?
No one else is going to take him.
We are fans here talking on a podcast that none of us are paid any money by the NFL to make decisions or backroom office stuff. So yeah,
that's where you're wrong, because Edgy works for the NFL.
Edgy's in charge of the New York Giants,
and you can see it.
Daniel Jones was his idea.
Daniel Jones is the best quarterback ever.
Yeah,
I have to say, I love the big brain galaxy move by Tom Brady. I no longer want to be a on-field correspondent. I'm going to have a small league, minor stake in a team. Oh, look, I can't go to team practices and all this other. You're like, gee, it always lands on the button side up for Tom Brady, doesn't it?
It does.
They should renegotiate him. They should renegotiate his contract.
He's been paid for his broadcasting contract, but now he's taken this ownership stake he now can't do broadcasting.
Yeah.
Like, you can still do it, but you can't cover certain things within broadcasting.
So
I mean,
really,
ideally, would include not speaking because he's fucking
that would be
terrible.
good, wouldn't it?
So
you
he's
might
going to
as
get
well-
some money to do less of a job.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to applaud that. I think
Yeah.
we're all looking for that sort of
Why not?
shit, aren't we?
Well, my being his agent.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Claire, thank you very much for
It's all
appearing.
right.
been a pleasure,
Ultimate.
yeah.
It's
This-
a pleasure.
So,
I
want you
mean,
to say the name
I
of the
do want
podcast,
the W
obviously.
this weekend, not you guys, but I do
W.
love the Golden Burgundy. You're a great team and a franchise with history. I'm glad that
Oh, give over. Your
your
franchise is
ownership has
better.
changed, which I'm very happy about.
History, Commander's only been going 2 years.
Yeah. A big shout out to my dad. If you get to listen to this, Dad, I love you very much. Thank you for letting me be a passionate female sports fan and encouraging me to be a little bit off the beaten path. And Daryl Thompson, if you're watching this, you're my second favourite Washington fan because you do have to come behind my dad. And I absolutely owe you a drink before the end of the year is out. Good luck.
And of course, this would need you to say the actual name of the podcast, Claire.
Oh, I can't. My dad might listen to this.
I'll bleep
You've got to
I'll
explain
bleep
what
it out.
it means.
I'll bleep it out, and that'll make it sound worse.
So it's quarterback sack.
Lovely. And on that note, I think we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Claire, thank you very much.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Claire.
Claire.
All right.
I'm Samurai Mike, I stop 'em cold. Part of the defense, big and bold. I've been jamming for quite a while, doing what's right and setting the style. Give me a chance, I'll rock you good. Nobody messing in my neighborhood. I didn't come here looking for trouble. I just came to do the Super Bowl shuffle. We are the Bears Shuffling Crew, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so bad, we know we're good.